See if you can get on one of these walls to get it in, because we don't have any more room on this backside, but that way you can get a clear picture.
Yeah, well, on the back wall would be good as long as it ain't blocking the view from the people outside.
This side's already full because we have all 4 news agencies on this one. So
wherever I can set it up, and I can leave the room, but just as long as it's recording.
Maybe around this corner right here, and see if you can get through that window.
From outside, you're saying?
From this side, through the window.
From this side?
Because the audio will pick up on this side. They're going to broadcast it out here too.
Well, let's see if I can set it up there. There's already somebody standing there, though. There's already somebody standing there.
Would you please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Excuse me. Can I set this camera up right here?
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know that. If I didn't comment how good it is to see so many people here tonight. It shows it's got a caring community here in Brighton. First item on the agenda is roll call. Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Kreutzer.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Edwards.
Present.
Councilmember Baca.
Here.
Councilmember Blackhurst.
Present.
Councilmember Humbert.
Here.
Councilmember Johnston.
Present.
Councilmember Mills.
Here.
Councilmember Pollock.
Here.
Councilmember Wallen.
Present.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the regular agenda. Mr. Falkenberg, is there any additions or changes to tonight's agenda?
Mayor, there's no changes, but in consideration to all the folks in the audience that are primarily here for item 10A regarding the city manager, I would respectfully request that the council consider moving that item to the front of the agenda to follow the consent agenda.
I guess they like that idea. I think the appropriate place would be to put it in between items 5 and 6. Would that be
That
okay? We will put it. So we'll move 10A after item 5. Okay. What's the pleasure of council? Councilman Humbert?
Mr. Mayor, I move we move item 10A to immediately after item 5, I guess, making that item 6.
With that, you approve the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended. I'll try to restate yours. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'd be happy to second that motion.
I have a motion to second to approve the agenda tonight as amended. For the discussion. Roll call vote. All votes cast. Motion passes by a vote of 5 to 0. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Madam City Clerk, would you please read into the record tonight's consent agenda?
Item 3A, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Brighton, Colorado, authorizing the submittal of a mini grant application to Adams County for the high school seniors beautification project at Colorado Park, and authorizing the city manager to sign and execute the grant application. Item 3B, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Brighton, Colorado, authorizing the submittal of a passive grant application to Adams County for the Morimitsu Farm acquisition, and authorizing the city manager to sign and execute the application. Item 3C, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Brighton, Colorado, authorizing the submittal of a passive grant application to Adams County for the Spear Canal Trail project, and authorizing the city manager to sign and execute the application. Item 3D, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Brighton, Colorado, authorizing the submittal of Brighton's bicycle-friendly community application to the League of American Bicyclists, and authorizing the mayor to sign and execute the application and supporting documents.
What's the pleasure of council? Councilman Blackhurst?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
A motion and a second. Councilman Humbert?
Mr. Mayor, I will second that motion.
A proper motion and a second to approve tonight's consent agenda. Roll call vote. All votes cast. Motion passes by a vote of 9-0. Next item on the agenda is public invited to be heard on matters not on the agenda. And believe it or not, we have quite a few. We also have quite a few people who have requested to speak on item 10A, which has become the next item on the agenda. So with the approval of council, I think what we'll do is we'll make this the public comment time. We'll get all our public comment out of the way on all items, both not on the agenda and considering 10A, because we'll go right into that. If that's okay, we'll proceed.
They'll call your name.
We do have a lot of people who are requesting to speak tonight. I will ask again, as I did in the past, and again, as I look across the room, I'm going to ask you to respect the decorum of the City Council chambers, and I'll ask gentlemen to remove your caps if you would, please. And I will also ask that that we do remain and have a good decorum here tonight. We want all people who've signed in to be heard fairly. Okay? First person I have tonight is, and also, you'll all be given 5 minutes, and 5 minutes, no longer. The time appears on the screen. The city clerk will let you know verbally. It's up to you to hear it or not. If you have 1 minute left, at the end of 1 minute, you'll be asked to stop. And that holds true for everybody. First person I'd like that signed in is Rex Bell. Rex. And I think we have some coming from what we call the back chambers tonight. Rex, name and address. Name and address for the record. Yeah, 5
Rex Bell, 1035 Midland Street, Brighton, Colorado. It's good to greet all of you and wishing you well tonight. Thank you for what you do and for your presence here tonight. In good times and not so good times, it's good to serve God's people. I remember fondly a couple 8 years ago when I served as city council. I remember fondly the times that we sat around the table, sometimes in the evenings, and just talked. We looked into one another's eyes and we listened to one another, and we understood one another. We understood that we are all people serving what we consider to be the greatest community in the Front Range. And I believe it is. I also remember sometimes, not so fondly, the times when it wasn't as fun or good. But we still listened, and we still understood, and our hearts beat together. And I just come here tonight telling you and sharing with you that I remember those times, and I just want to lift up you tonight in my prayers and in my heart, wishing that tonight that spirit of respect and honor would again rule. That we would all remember that we are all people. We all have families to go home to. We all have dreams. We all have just lives that can come crushing down on us. But I would submit to you tonight that it's our calling tonight to lift one another up. Even in hard decisions, it's appropriate to care for one another, to treat one another as fellow Americans who have the joy and the privilege of speaking their free minds and having differences of opinion, but also in a greater way as fellow human beings of this earth. And we should treat them even as we would like to be treated. God bless you. I know that you have a heavy plate tonight. But I pray that not only within your heart, but within the hearts of my fellow Brighton citizens, that we would find it within us to remember that we are all people, good people, that care and that hurt, that laugh and love. God bless you tonight. Mr. Mayor, would you mind, and is it appropriate, if I just have a word of prayer? I think that'd be appropriate tonight. Father in heaven, we as citizens of Brighton tonight pray that your spirit would be present, that we would treat one another even as you would treat us, that we would see one another as you look at us, not as we are, but as we are in your eyes. God bless your people tonight here in this city hall, and God bless your leaders. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Rex. Next individual is Rodney Knodel. Mr. Knodel, name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
I'm Rodney Knodel. I'm from 16220 East 168th Avenue, Brighton, Colorado. I'd like to start out tonight by defining what community is. And community can be defined as a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Over the past few weeks, we've experienced many rumors being spread, many fights being broke out, citizens versus citizens. And I ask, is this how we want the world to see how Brighton is? This is not the Brighton that I know and that I want to see. We are all neighbors here, and we all have the same interests, and we should all have the same goals. Instead, we are being separated for selfish reasons, whatever those reasons may be. And most people are using these for their self-interests, and they should be ashamed of themselves, because this is not what Brighton is. We're forgetting what community is. And I want to address the citizens that we're forgetting why we have a council. We have a council to reflect our interests and defend what our values are. And I stand by council because we elected everyone to represent us. And I also agree that those who are guilty of any wrongdoing should be held accountable because no one is above the law. I'm going to close out with this. Everyone can play their team games, but the team that I'm going to be playing for and that I'm going to be rooting for is Team Brighton, and I hope everyone can join me in this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rodney. Next is Christian Morales. Christian, name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
I'm Christian Morales. I'm from 330 North 11th Avenue, Brighton, Colorado. I read a quote recently that said, "We are drowning in information and starving for wisdom." This has never seemed more relevant than right now to me. Though I am not an expert on water funds or billing, I do pride myself on being an educated being. To this end, when I see or hear something, especially on social media, I find it important to do my research before drawing a conclusion. I am incredibly discouraged by what seems to be nothing but half-truths, mistruths, and sensationalism surrounding the termination of the city manager. Repeatedly, our mayor and members of council have stated the termination is a personnel issue, separate from the water issue. In a previous council meeting, council voted to proceed with a forensic audit. Despite this, both members of our council and community continue to insist and accuse that our mayor and 4 members of council are being deceitful. I have known and worked alongside Mayor Kreutzer and several other council members in different capacities for 6 years. I have full faith that as an elected body, there is a wealth of wisdom on this dais. I trust that with the 5-3 vote to place City Manager Rodriguez on leave, the professionals that serve our community know what they are doing. I refuse to blindly fall into the trap of hype, sensationalism, and lies. I stand behind Mayor Kreutzer, Mayor Pro Tem Edwards, Councilwoman Baca, Councilman Humbert, and Councilman Blackhurst. With that, I implore each and every one of you to dig deeper than social media and what you hear on TV, and do in-depth research before spewing misinformation and hate. Thank you.
Christian. Next is Melissa White. Melissa White, I think I know you. Name and address for the record.
My name is Melissa White. I live at 210 South 5th Avenue, Brighton, Colorado 80601. Thank you, Council, for allowing the opportunity for me to speak this evening. I believe that one of the most important decisions one person can make in their life is deciding where to make a home and to raise a family. I, like many of us in this room, have chose the great community of Brighton to do this. We all might have different reasons why we chose Brighton, but one of the big reasons I found love in this city stems from the man sitting in front of me, our Mayor Ken Kreutzer. I believe in our community. I believe in our schools. I believe in our first responders and our hospitals. I believe in our local businesses. I believe in our people. I believe in our council. And I believe in our mayor and his capacity to lead our city to the very best interests of our citizens. There is no doubt that this council, all members, have been dedicated to serving people in one fashion or another, from careers in education, public service, local business ownership, communications and reporting, or other government work. You all have spent hours of your lives giving to others, and I want to thank you for that. That is what unites you all. Regardless of the side of an issue you are on, you are all united in service. Thank you for taking time to choose to represent our community together. This is no secret here. Mayor Kreutzer is my dad. It also is no secret that there are 2 very different sides to the issues being presented tonight. As a citizen of Brighton and as a daughter, I ask that the people in this room, both community members and the council, to make informed decisions for your actions, regardless of what side you are on. Base your opinions purely on facts. The fact is there are a lot of accusations going around that are being confused and perceived as facts, and the reality is that none of us know 100% of the facts, myself included. Here's what I do know. I do know that my son loves being able to watch his Grampy on TV, so hi Lincoln. We watch a lot of city council meetings, and in doing so, I've been able to learn a lot about what has been happening in our city. In regards to the topic at hand tonight, the fact is that this council, in its entirety, mayor included, has never opposed getting to the bottom of the utility issues in the water fund. The fact is, they have never opposed any audit to get answers, including a forensic audit, which was put into motion by our mayor himself. The fact is it has been communicated that the decision to remove the city manager has nothing to do with the discovery of the utility issue and the water fund. Those are facts that have been presented by the city council and by the mayor. The fact is, this entire council wants answers, just as anyone else in this room. The fact is, they have approved measures to get to the bottom of the issue, and the fact is, it will not be completed overnight. The fact is, we as the community need to be patient. As we move forward as a community, regardless of where you stand, I beg you to look at multiple sources, do your research, listen to facts, and not base your opinions based purely on social media and hearsay. If you know the Mayor Kreutzer personally, you know his heart bleeds Brighton, and he would never make a decision that would be of detriment to this community or citizens. We need to trust him. He ran for mayor because he loves this city and wants to serve the citizens. And in my opinion, that's exactly what he's doing. Thank you.
Julie Blair. Julie's coming from the back chamber. Ms. Blair, your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Julie Blair, 1385 Cherry Way. I've lived in Brighton my entire adult life, which obviously is several decades. Served on multiple boards and committees, also directed the 911 Center for several years, which serves our city. I provide this information to show my vested interest in our community. I do know that serving on boards is very time-consuming and takes great effort, sometimes for no or very little compensation. I do want to thank all of you for taking on this role. I was saddened and appalled to witness the circus that has went on the past 2 weeks. That performance certainly gave the city of Brighton a black eye. Shame on whoever orchestrated that event. One expects their city council to be a body of respectful adults, working for the common good, representing and be the voice of their citizens. It felt like the junior high locker room, with bullying and mudslinging. While I may not agree with all of the points made, there were many eloquent citizen speakers last week. I applaud their effort and courage to speak. The division is obvious. We as citizens deserve better than this. However, do keep in mind, we do not know all the facts. Management 101 rule, praise in public, reprimand in private. Personnel issues are sensitive and for many legal reasons cannot be aired in public except in the court of law, where criminal activity is usually involved. I've worked for governmental agencies my entire career and never seen personnel issues brought before the public except in those cases. From what I gather, most of this is in reference to the water issue, the $70 million. Yes, that's a tremendous amount of money. We don't know if the funds are there or not. My personal opinion is they are. There has just been some mismanagement. However, a forensic audit has been approved, so let's wait for all the facts before judgment. There are issues with water billing, the cycle, the due dates changing, and the water quality in general. I came before council several years ago about the quality. It was literally undrinkable. A citizen group was formed. I served on that. The quality improved somewhat. The billing process, the due dates, and the high apparent usage issues have still not been resolved after several years of complaints. It appears the city manager has also failed to make any headway or improvements. That is concerning to me. While this issue is a hot topic and important, please remember major projects cost millions of dollars. When those are delayed, projects are put in, when those delayed projects are put into motion, which they need to be, that 70 million will quickly be expended. I feel there are several much greater issues to be addressed for the safety of all of our citizens. This one issue of focus is taking time and resources away from them. In the interest of time, I will not expound on these points other than to mention the topic. Traffic, the volume's out of control on our main arteries. Violence, we've had 2 shootings in this town in the past month that I'm aware of. Again, safety issues. Uncontrolled growth. It appears to me to be uncontrolled growth that's taxing our resources. Recalls are very expensive and take great effort. It is also taking focus off of what I view as far greater city concerns, as just mentioned. Are we witnessing knee-jerk self-serving actions, hidden agendas? It does cause one to question the reckless use of taxpayers' dollars when other solutions may be possible. What I do know and what I have learned in my time is to be cautious, do your research and fact-checking. Much of it is public information. It is not wise to follow the Pied Piper or drink the Kool-Aid. Suggestion is to form a citizen accountability committee to work with City Council, attempt resolution to this division and the pressing issues, saving all of us taxpayers a lot of money. We will all have disagreements in life and business and have the right to voice our opinions. However, there are times for the greater good, one must put those aside and come together to do the right thing. Find the middle ground, not self-serving agendas. And remember, united we stand, divided we fall. I, for one, do not want the city I love and raised my family in to fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Next is Orlo Peterson. Orlo Peterson? Is anybody in the, oh, okay, coming from the back chamber? Mr. Peterson, give your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Orlo Peterson, I live at 16207 East 144th Avenue in Brighton. Mayor, Council, thank you for your time. I'll give you a break from some of the other stuff tonight. I want to talk about 144th and Safewell again tonight. I came 2 weeks ago, listened to the rhetoric and the decisions that were made about that intersection after the tragic accident there where a gentleman was killed. Since that day, we've had another bad accident there. Took out the light bulb, all the power in the neighborhood. At that meeting, it was decided they were going to put up bigger stop signs with lights on them, warnings that there crossbars stopped on the highway, and they've done all that. But we didn't talk about the speed on Sable. That Highway 2 has been 50 miles an hour since it had 50 cars a day on it, and now has 100 cars an hour or something like that. Commerce City just turned it into a 4-lane with a turn lane down the middle of it, and then to reduce the speed limit to 45 down there. I would suggest that until you can have a full traffic study and to find out if we can afford a light there, that you drop that speed limit on that section of the highway, because it was made clear in the council meeting last time, that came to last time, that the city has responsibility and given responsibility by the state to maintain and control that highway. So, I would suggest 35 or 40 would be an appropriate speed limit on that section of that highway. I don't think it'll stop all the accidents, but it'll make them much less severe. Okay. That's why I came. Okay. I also came because my son called me and said, "Dad, would you go to the council meeting tonight on my behalf and talk on behalf of Mr. Ken Kreutzer for me?" Okay. My son Ken, a farmer, couldn't make it tonight. He's on an airplane flying in from Vegas. He was there on business. I don't know Ken Kreutzer personally. I've talked to him briefly a couple of times. That's about it. But I do know what the man has done for my sons. And a more upstanding person doesn't exist on this planet. The work he did with my children through the DECA program at the high school is just it's an unbelievable outcome. They've turned into outstanding young citizens, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm proud of what he did as a teacher for them. And I just wanted to be here and say that he's, you can't find a more outstanding individual. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Zoe Stieber. That must be in the back lot too. Is that okay? I don't see Zoe here. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Name and address of the record, and you have 5 minutes.
I'm Mayor Zoe Stieber. I live at 1111 3rd Street in Fort Lupton. I'm the sitting mayor in Fort Lupton. You really know how to pack the house. I'm here to invite the city of Fort Lupton to work on a task force with water regards to us. This may be the only thing where I think Fort Lupton has something better than Brighton that you might actually agree to. We have an enviable water position. Our city fathers and mothers over the last decades have done a remarkable job. We have wonderful water, we have lots of it, and we are currently involved in several projects, Northern Integrated Supply Program, commonly called NISP, and Windy Gap Water. We have currently well over $30 million invested in those two projects. And unfortunately, they have yet to come up with actual final numbers. And if you know government agencies, as obviously you do, that may not come about until the final tallying is done, but we expect to be pretty close to $500 million for those water projects before we're done. We are a city of 8,000 people. Since we are only about 1/5 of your size, we would certainly be a small voice at a table where we could work on water projects together, but in our new spirit of cooperation between our communities, I would welcome the opportunity to do that and help you. Maybe you guys have insight on things that we don't know about, and certainly we have some access that I'm not sure